Hey gun people, do a little baton here. It's 9/11, a little remembrance of those who didn't make it through that dreadful day when the Muslim extremist terrorists, hijackers killed all those innocent people, and now our government is welcoming them with open arms to our country, calling them refugees. I just don't get how people don't see that, how you destroy a future of a country by letting invaders come in that don't believe, don't want to assimilate, and don't want to be part of your country. All they don't do is come in and complain and take what you can give them. Anyway, in 9/11, do a little baton impact weapon stuff here. I'll work with 3 of these really quick. If you want to, you know, you can save this or replay or take notes or whatever, so it'll be on video. It's not like you won't see it. So it's not, if I was teaching a class, I would do these a bunch of times and it would reinforce it. But if you got a video, you can just go through it. So this is considered a straight baton. They don't call them sticks. They don't call them nightsticks. Sounds too aggressive, so they call it a police baton. It's basically a wood stick or a wood club. But that's not politically correct, so we can't call it a wood club. So we got to call it a police baton. So I have a police baton. I have a set of Nunchucks OPN with a rope. Go over some moves with those. And then the PR24 side handle baton. This one actually has a little swivel here that spins to make it a little bit easier when you're gripping it to spin it, but most of them don't. You don't really need it. This is one I carried when I was in Vallejo. Some of the dents are people, and some are just dropping or running or chasing or throwing in the car. But good baton. So let's start with the straight baton, since most people start with it, and the advantages and disadvantages that people use. Now they're both good. You can both do damage. And again, I'm not teaching you necessarily, if you're a cop, you know, you want to go over these techniques, that's fine. If you're not a cop, knowing how to pick up something and use it effectively as an impact weapon is important. Because if you pick it up and you don't really know how to use it, you don't have any technique, it's not going to be as effective and you won't be able to maintain it. Now these classes, when I teach these classes, I'm only teaching one, either one of these, and when I'm teaching one, it's a long period of class. It's not, you know, 10 minutes on a video here. And batons drop, and I should have a mat and all this other stuff. But the more you handle it, the more you hold it, the more comfortable you come with it, holding it different ways, learning how to jab, etc. So let's, straight baton. One of the basic moves, since most cops carry it in a ring right here and it swings, the basic move is so I can stand here, and it's opposite usually gun hand. Whatever your gun, if my gun's over here, the baton's over here. If my gun's over here, the baton's over here. So because when I'm standing there talking to you, so I don't want to look too aggressive, I can just have my hand on it here, but I'm still ready to come out of the thing and go strike if you were to come in on me. And this is just called a jab. It's called, straight from the ring, a jab. If I'm holding it, I can do a jab. If I've got it down on my side, I can do a jab. I can turn around and do an extended jab. So those are just 3 little jabs that you can do. Extended jab, regular jab, either hand. The other strike that we'll do a one-handed strike. This is called a one-handed strike. And again, with police, there's all kind of technical, legal stuff, use of force, different zones. You know, top is zone 1, bottom is zone 2. You have a defensive figure 8, a downward figure 8, an upward figure 8 for blocking. Somebody's coming in at you high. You can do an upward strike or a downward strike, or you know, zone 2, a low leg strike, hitting low, or I can do a high. And those are all one-handed strikes. Same thing with two-handed. If I want to use two-handed, I can do the two-handed high, two-handed low, downward figure 8, upward figure 8. But I'm using 2 hands or 1 hands. And again, PR24, same techniques. If you know the techniques, no matter what you have in your hand, you're going to be able to use it effectively. PR24 I like because it gives a little bit better grip here. Somebody can't pull your baton. This is a weaker grip if I got a straight baton, versus this is a stronger grip. You're not going to get away. Also, this grip care is a little bit better for blocking because it keeps my fingers out of the way. If you do a block with this to block something up close, and hopefully it'll hit the baton, you can get your fingers hit. PR24 side handle, a little bit better. Protect my fingers. I can slide, push off, blocks, etc. Again, same techniques. I got the one-handed strike, the two-handed, or two-handed high, two-handed low, one hand high, one hand low, downward figure eight, upward figure eight. Same concept there on using the side handle. So the other strikes that basically we're taught is this is a close-in jab with this 24. I can do it this way. I can put my hand here and do it. A lot of cops will hold their batons like so we're ready to jab if we need to. If I'm standing there and I'm expecting trouble, I can get my baton out, I hold it here, I look relaxed. But if I need to engage you, get you out of my space, or if you come in, I can give a quick to the face. Cops can't go to the throat. As a civilian, you can go to the throat if you're defending yourself. You're justifying deadly force. You hit somebody with an impact weapon, it's going to be deadly force if you go for the head or some critical area. So, jab, extended jab. Jab, extended jab. We did a one-handed strike, the two-handed strikes, figure eight. Power chop, one of my favorite strikes, is if I'm here and I want to go for a power chop, if I'm in the extended position, I'm here, I'm doing whatever. You bring this hand around and I'm going to hit you with this part of the baton, the butt, and I'm going to come straight down to the clavicle area and break collarbone. So power chop, very good strike coming straight down. Again, straight handle baton. I'm doing in one hand, I want to do a power chop. I come straight down and jam that into the clavicle neck area. If I hit the neck this way, it's going to do more damage to the neck. If I come straight down, it's going to do more to the clavicle. PR24 is a little bit... now, there's a few techniques that the cops are taught, like 3 from the ring. I go 1, I come around 2, I do a one-handed strike. You can do the figure eight. Different, you can combine all these. Another strike when I'm using two hands, which is very close for good close quarters, is called an upward rollover or a downward rollover. Upward rollover, downward rollover. So I'm standing here, I want to get you back. I come in, I drive it to your chest area, shoulders, etc. If your hands are up and I come here first, your hands go up, then I come back and I can go some bottom rollovers back to the top rollover. So upward rollover, downward rollover, same thing with PR24. I got upward rollover, downward rollover, upward rollover, downward, power chop, one-handed figure eight, one-handed strike, two-handed strike, power chop. Now, the one thing that you can use the PR24, you can't do this, it's called a tomahawk. I know it's not politically correct, some Native Americans are going to get upset. A side handle strike is another way that it's referred to, but in PR24 a lot of them use it. It's called a tomahawk. Basically, I'm going to hit you with this part. Now, there's a strike that's called a uorder, where I come to the side and I just grab this in your solar plex. And if you're coming in at me and I want to sidestep, I may block, come back around, and then just drive this into your solar plex area. And I think I call that the uorder strike. Do the same thing with the baton. You're coming in, strike, strike, you come in, and I jam that in to your solar plex area. Tomahawk strike, my favorite, a lot of force, a lot of pain. Downside is you're going to miss some areas. So basically, get the tomahawk strike. I need to get this just like this. It looks like the tomahawk, like a hatchet. And I'm going to make all this force on this point right here. If I'm going for a big area, this is an extremely powerful strike. If I come down with a tomahawk and I hit you with that strike, it's going to do a lot of damage. So if I hit you in the kidney, I'm probably going to puncture your kidney. Remember, cops, kidneys are no hit zones. We're not supposed to hit in the kidneys, throat, groin, neck area, head area. Those are no strike targets unless deadly force is authorized. People are like, you can't ever hit people who tell you they know a baton. You can never hit somebody in the head. That's not true. A head is a no strike zone and you're not supposed to hit them there. But if deadly force is authorized, the head is absolutely a target. If I got a guy on top of a cop, he's got his gun and they're fighting over his gun, he's trying to shoot him, and he's got my gun, or I lost my gun, or I got my baton in my hand, I absolutely can hit him in the head. Even though it's a no strike zone, deadly force is authorized. The reason it's a no strike zone is because it's likely to cause death or serious bodily injury, so you better have justification before you hit somebody in the head. Or any of those no target zones. Now all cops are taught, and you as a citizen needs to be, if you ever strike somebody, you need to be able to say the reason why I hit them in the head, I wasn't aiming for the head, I was aiming for the shoulder or bone. Targets you want to hit, let me finish one thought I guess, then I'll go back to targets. Ducking and dodging is a phrase that cops use to get people when they get hit in target zones. Because most people, when they make a use of force complaint, if they get hit with a baton, they're probably going to make a use of force complaint. And then it's going to be like, well, they've got a mark on their neck, or they got a mark on their kidney. And those are no strike zones. Why do they have a mark there? Why'd you hit them there? I didn't hit him there. I was trying to get him off. I was going for my target zones. He was ducking, dodging, running, being aggressive, fighting me, and his ducking and dodging movement caused me to miss my target area and hit him in a no target zone. So his actions caused him to get hit there, not mine. And that's standard procedure, and I know there's going to be the crazies out here. I do it, all you cops are hitting people in the head and saying they dodged. Look, people don't go, I'm telling you, there's no benefit for a cop to go out there and kill or hurt somebody and deal with all the BS. You get internal affairs, you get some in your jacket, it's brought up every time you go to court, the news media beats you up, the administrations wants to wash their hands, defense attorneys now want to bring it up, the judge is like, man, you hit this guy. I mean, it's just all negative when cops shoot somebody or do something damage. People are like, you cops are out there just shooting up the town for no reason. That's just ridiculous. It just doesn't, look, I tell you if it's happened, I say there's a lot of bad things about cops, but that shit ain't happening. So, again, the Tomahawk message, there's other ways to get there. I mean, if I don't want to do the fancy spin because it looks cool or it's quick, to me this is a lot quicker than that. So, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to practice, the Tomahawk is a great strike, very powerful. The problem is if I'm going for small areas like this and I miss, I'm going to get a flat strike, which is okay. When you're hitting somebody with an impact instrument, you want to hit them where there's less muscle and tissue and bone meat. So there's not a lot of fat on me, there's probably more fat should be, here between the bone and the arm. But there's less between here and the hands, fingers. These are your good strike areas because that's where they're going to feel the most pain. If I hit myself there, it hurts. I can hit myself here and it doesn't hurt. I can't hit myself this hard right here on this hand because it's going to hurt. Same way with the knees, bones, shins. Anywhere the skin is close to the bone, that's your target area for the most pain, and these are considered pain compliance. I cause you pain for you to comply. When you comply, the pain stops. It's an impact weapon. Again, the impact can be a jam, an extended jab, a Yawara strike, a figure eight, an upward, a power chop, an upward rollover, a downward rollover. Those are your strikes for both batons. So it doesn't matter what stick you have in your hand, if you know some basic moves. And then of course there's the blocks. Here's your high block, your low blocks. And then there's all kind of, basically if somebody grabs your baton, the best and easiest, there's a lot of different retention. The best way is to circle into the body because it tends to break their grip. So if I grab my hand and I circle into the body, it's going to break that thumb. So if somebody grabs your baton, basically you just want to circle right down to the body. And you can circle inward or outward, doesn't matter. As long as you get their hands circled, because when my hands are here and you're circling, you're going to break my grip. So, chucks. Now, again, the more you carry and move with this, the more you're going to be able to move around and do things that you wouldn't want to do. But in a fight, you don't want to be doing things like twisting, because if you mess up and drop it, you've lost your tool. So when you're teaching cops these nunchucks or OPNs, their hands usually stay on here. So with me swinging, getting in this position because I'm comfortable with it and I can catch, somebody that's not comfortable with it can get in that same position without letting go. And this position here gives you two strikes. I can come down or I can come up. Either strike. So Again, this is the same as a straight baton. It's basically a straight baton with a kink in the middle. So I have my figure 8 downward, I have my figure 8 upward, I have my one-hand strikes, I have my two-hand strikes, I have my jabs, I have my power chop. There's even, I can come around here and bring it in and use it as a short club and do some strikes with this if I'm up close. Again, my targets are skin and bone. Hands, elbows, knees, shins, ankles. Those are your great targets because that's where you're going to get the most effective. If I'm hitting you, I almost hit my leg with our phone in there, I'd have been pissed. If I'm hitting you here, I can take a pretty good hit. It may sting, and obviously that's going to sting a little bit more, but it's not going to be near as effective if I hit a wrist bone, hand, back of the area. Again, my blocks, if I want to keep people back, those are all kind of the Bruce Lee, not really taught for the cops. If guys want to do it, this is more of an intimidation factor. You have a lot of people out there, you pull out the chucks, you tell them to get back. It looks aggressive and it moves in. It looks a little bit more aggressive than, you better get back. That's not as aggressive as, hey, you better back up. It just, people are like, oh shit. And there's the old shit factor in these. Most people see them, they know what they are. I can't show you a lot of moves of these, but a lot of trapping with the nunchucks are a great control technique, because when you trap a wrist, an elbow, a knee, or an ankle, once I trap this and I get this in a cross, I can't do it because I don't have anything to trap. But when I squeeze this, whoo, a lot of torque. And it really is a lot of torque if I trap something and I get two hands and I'm like this. And you get that cross and you're in the middle, a lot of torquing action. So if I come up to your wrist and I trap it, you're in a world of hurt. Once I trap it, I can go to one hand, I can control you, I can take you to the ground, I can spin you around. You're gonna be, it's incredible the amount of pain that these cause when they're crossed. I mean, I'm telling you, it's just like, oh, it's brutal. And again, I can trap, it's called a split finger carry. I can trap the wrist, the elbow, the knee, or the ankle. Those are good trapping points. And I can do a two-handed trap. I can come in and slide this if I'm up close, slide it in between your arm here, and then get my twisting action going. But same thing with this. You've got your upward, you got your power chop. If I'm in close and we're fighting, I can do an upward rollover, I can do a downward rollover, jab, I can do your war strike, strap to the side, drive those into your stomach area. So impact weapons, no matter what it is, if you have some basic maneuvers down, the more you handle and carry these, the better you're going to get. A lot of backhand people though, you swing a bat like so and you uncork and uncoil, but people in the backhand swing like this a lot and they don't get that good torquing and unwind. When I'm teaching a backhand, I don't teach bring your baton back like this. I teach bring your baton straight back over your shoulder. That causes you to coil up and then snap it out, and that's how you get your power. So this is not nearly as powerful as that. Same way here. This isn't as powerful as this or that. Getting that coiling and tucking. So it's a lot of technique. If you got a bag, you got a tree, you can put a mat, put some carpet around a tree, you can use that. A couple people have been asking me about batons going through the category. So those are a little short demo on that. Of course, if you were getting taught a class, you'd be on the mat 8 hours, push-ups, doing all the other stuff. And I'm talking and doing all three of these, so I'm out of breath. So I gotta have a cup of coffee. All right, hopefully that helps.